Hi, welcome to ReneMarie Stroke of Luck. I'm ReneMarie, and I'm honored and privileged to have the opportunity to come into your homes today and to come into your phones and your computers, and really today is going to be an awesome day. And I say that every show because every day Judy does a phenomenal job in booking our shows and really getting things going. So today is really, though, a very special day because we are going to introduce somebody to you. She has been in the public with me on a number of occasions, especially 5 years ago. I think it was 2011. 2011 is 7 years ago from this coming October, where she was present at my really the beginning journey for this foundation and for my telethon, and when my dream was only a little vision, not little vision because I never have little visions, but she came and she supported me, and with everybody else that was there, I was very humbled and had tears at the end because it was really a milestone for me to accomplish that after I had suffered my stroke and just really began to learn my purpose in life, and my purpose in life, this has a big this plays a big part in it, to have this platform. I always used to think to myself, yeah, I can sing and I could do this and I could do that, but nobody wants to hear me talk. And the truth is, I've learned that stories and having this platform that touches the universe, the world right now is listening to us through YouTube, through the web, the Village Connection website, through Facebook, that we're allowed to come into your homes and to share our stories with you. So today, my mother, Mayda Prado, is our very special, I don't want to call her a guest because she's not a guest in our lives, but really family is here to share their part of her story. And it's so remarkable to me that I remembered a long time ago her sharing with me that she had a car accident. And I never really knew the extent until, like, just recently I put the dots together that she had suffered a brain injury, a brain trauma, the same as me. And it's so, I don't know the word I'm looking for, so ironic is not the word. I really believe it's a God thing that we both experience the same type of thing in our lives, and we both have used music to heal us and to really get us to this point in our lives. And my mother has had an astounding, prestigious career. She mastered at Juilliard, but above and beyond that, when I was putting together the show and recently when I was thinking, I never really knew the backdrop of the struggles, the back struggles that the public doesn't hear about, of how it was for her to get to that point, to master at Juilliard. But before she even got into Juilliard, I think we'll confirm that when she's on, she suffered a brain injury, a car accident at the age of 13, and Maria Carlos was giving master classes at Juilliard, and she had the privilege and opportunity to join that master class. And once again, she'll share a little bit more in detail when she comes on. But, that really forced her to get up in gear, and really, because this is something she has always wanted, and she had angels around her and people around her that really supported her on that journey. And it wasn't easy, I will tell you. I know that, and I know when we live our lives, we shouldn't listen to the people around us. We should do what's in our souls, and we should do it in a loving way. It's not like we should get into arguments with people. We should really just share with them that, thank you for sharing your information, but this is the path that I want to try, and we need to let them try it. So I'm really honored and privileged to have this discussion with my mom, because she's really only spoke about it a number of times in public, and it really is, an honor, and not only that, but it really is striking to me that we both suffered the same thing, and we both have been successful, and we want to bring our stories to you at home, so that you could know that anything, any struggle that happens in your life can be overcome. And maybe it's not gonna come out the way that you want, but it will come out in a perfect way. Plan B, we always talk about here at the studio, right, Jim? Plan B is really the way that you have to live life, and you have to just go with the flow and enjoy each and every moment in your life, because life is a gift and life is difficult. So I'm going to sing a song that my mom, I remember vividly, sitting in our kitchen with my doggie Penny on the floor, my mom and I. Do you remember, Mom? Yes. Sitting on the floor with my mom, Penny, my doggie Penny. And my mom has always been intuitive towards everything and everybody. She can read people, and animals love her. And we were sitting there, and she used to sing a song to me even when I was a child. And the words are are prevalent in my life, because it talks about, one of these days you're going to rise up singing. And I really think that at this point in my life, at the age of 55, and I have no qualms in telling people my age, because I am proud to have made it to 55. And next year is my 30-year anniversary with my stroke, believe it or not. That, now is the time for me to just take my wings and fly the way it does in the song Summertime. So I'm going to sing the song, and then we're going to take a little break, and we're going to bring, of course, Judy Marlowe onto the show, and my mom. And I'm really happy and honored that you had the opportunity to join us today. And if you're watching us after, of course, people stream on after and watch it on Facebook later on, and on YouTube and on our websites. Thank you so much. These platforms are really important to for hope, peace, hope, and love, and really to that healing can happen in any aspect of your life. So here I go. Summertime, and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, and the cotton is high. Oh, your daddy's rich, and your mama's good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing, and you'll spread your wings, and you'll take to the sky. But till that morning, there ain't nothing can harm you. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. We'll be right back.
Don't you know you'll always be my baby blue? And I'm so sorry, yeah, for what I put you through. It won't be long yes it is. It won't be long till I'm lying next to you. I'll always be there to give you a push on through. Just me and you and Spider-Man, my baby blue. My baby blue. I call to see you every day. Same old answer anyway. I sure hope you remember me. She can't keep you away from me, oh no. My baby blue. My baby blue. My baby blue. It won't be long till I'm lying next to you. I'll always be there to give you a push under. Just me and you and Spider-Man, my baby blue. Oh yeah, 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 baby blue. My 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 baby blue.
Hi, welcome back to ReneMarie's Stroke of Luck. Thank you once again for the opportunity to join us today on this blessed Sunday. Every Sunday is blessed. Every moment's blessed. Of course, Judy is here with me. As thank you so much for all the work you do to set all these shows up through
It's my
November.
pleasure.
Thank you, thank you. And then, once again, I'd like to introduce Mayda Prado. It's my mom. How are you, Mom?
I am in great shape.
Good,
Thank
good,
you.
Good. Thank you for taking time out of your world travels.
Oh my God.
Even though your main base is New York.
Yes.
But, you know, you do workshops around the country, around the world, actually.
A lot
and
of
you-
places.
yeah.
A lot of places.
Yeah, yeah.
It keeps me busy.
Can you hear her, Jim? I just want to make sure that, okay, it keeps you busy?
Yes. It keeps me busy.
Yeah, but
Renee.
that keeps us young at heart and really keeps us, you know.
It keeps us alert.
Yes, yes.
Not thinking of how old we are.
Yeah, you know what?
Isn't that
That's
true?
young in
It's true.
mind.
Yes.
But
Yes.
but any like the age doesn't matter because
No, it doesn't
anybody,
matter.
any one of us can leave this earth at any specific time.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter how
Exactly.
old you are. So
Exactly.
the age we're at, we should be very grateful to be at.
That's
to
right.
have lived that many years. On
And
this
how
earth.
the song says, young at heart.
Yes, yes.
That's right.
yes, yes, yes. So, you know, like I said in my intro, you know, it wasn't until, you know, recently that I put together the dots of the struggles that you've had in your life.
Yes.
I know we've had struggles, you know, you've had career struggles and, you know, to be in the operatic field, that's a struggle unto itself.
Yes, it
unto
is.
itself,
Yes.
especially when you have a passion for music or the arts or acting or anything. It really is a struggle. But you had an added struggle, an added dimension to it. And I was sharing with everybody. But tell us a little bit about that and how it inspired. It actually didn't. I don't think it held you back. I think it pushed you to
Pushed you forward.
pushed you forward.
I never thought of it, really. I was 13. I had a car accident. And I never was told exactly what had happened. So, graduated from grammar school. And in graduation, when I was asked to sing, and graduation was a matter probably of 2 weeks after the car accident where I was operated.
Wow.
And when I went out on the stage, I couldn't remember the words to the song. And I had to leave the stage. But I really didn't know what was happening.
Did everyone realize what had happened to you, though? Did everyone...
I think of
was it
course,
Heartfelt High School or was it Mary Help?
No, it was prior to high school.
Oh, it was grammar school.
Grammar school.
It was grammar school. What grammar was it?
Was in Patterson.
Oh, okay.
Was in Patterson.
Okay.
Prior to going to Mary Help. No. And no one really told me. But I knew there was something wrong. But yet, I never think of anything being wrong.
Well, at that age, you're not really sure.
Yes, it's true.
That you couldn't relate it.
No, I couldn't. But I knew that I had difficulty with my vocabulary. I knew that. And why did I have this difficulty? I went to high school and I began having problems with math in high school.
And you were good in math.
And I was very good in math. But I continue my singing lessons and my music studies. And I sang. The most interesting thing was the fact that in music, I never had any problems. Since the right side of the brain is the one involved in music, I didn't have any problems. The problems came sometimes when I had to memorize something. And text for songs, I had to memorize them, but it was very easy for me to memorize that. So I think that helped a great deal. And
did you
then,
put everything, did your memory and song help you with your regular memory?
There were times that I opened up my mouth and I said to myself, I don't think I'm going to remember the words. But somehow...
The background music might have helped you.
Maybe. But somehow I opened up my mouth and the words would come out and I would be so surprised.
Wow.
I would be so surprised. But what really led me to strengthen that part of the brain was when I went to the Juilliard school.
Now you mastered at Juilliard.
I went to do my bachelor degree, my master, and part of my doctorate degree there.
Which, if everybody thinks about it, any ordinary individual going to Juilliard, that's a feat unto itself because you really have to be very prestigious. But someone like yourself who had this brain
injury,
trauma
that
went on, for you to have successfully done that, in my world, that's a God thing. Like we spoke about in our prior show, the Spanish show, that that she was a guardian angel to you to really help you to strengthen and recover. So tell us a little bit about Maria Callas.
Well, Maria Callas was way before I went to the Juilliard school. I began my career as a singer, and during that time, someone that had heard me sing told me that Maria Callas was going to be given master classes at the Juilliard school. And if I were to go and pass those auditions, they would pay for those master classes.
Wow.
Now, there were, if I say hundreds, maybe thousands of singers that went for those auditions, since she was one of the great geniuses in the operatic field. And really, I never sung auditions or competitions thinking that I go there to be the best. I don't think that way. I think I go there because I love what I do. And I'm going to be very well prepared. And that's exactly what I did. And I was so privileged that she allowed me to be part of her master classes. Those master classes were given 2 semesters, not only one.
So what age was this at? Was it at 13? Was it at...
No.
When you were 7?
No.
This was when you were in your early 20s?
I was in my teens.
Yeah. So you had
Yes.
so just so I understand, you had your car accident at age 13.
Yes.
So was it prior or was it after?
After.
It was
A few
after.
years
Okay.
after.
Okay.
A few years after. And after the first semester, half of the class she let go, and she allowed me to remain for the other semester. That was...
She saw your talent.
Yeah. And she probably saw her passion and
Yes.
just true essence of this was her life.
Anyway, let's not talk about myself in a sense that when you're talking about Maria Callas, you're talking about someone that is way beyond our comprehension. She's part of that sphere that has to do with being a genius.
Mm.
So I couldn't say I understood her. I'm not in that sphere. But I was able to be close enough to her without really being able to comprehend her, so that I would get what she was giving all of her students during those 2 semesters.
Right.
So that was a support that I needed, but I never thought of what injury I had in my brain. I only kept studying until years after I went to the Juilliard school, and that was a privilege to be able to go into the Juilliard school. But we must remember that I was allowed to enter. Of course, I had to do several auditions, but I was allowed to enter because I did a good audition and because I had already established a modest career. And I think that the teachers, the judges that heard me, they felt, being that I came from studying with very important people, including Callas, including one of the great teachers of Mr. Schlossberger, but other than Kurt Schlossberger, there was another great teacher by the name of Samuel Margolis that had taught in Manhattan since the early 30s.
Wow.
and died when he was almost 100 years old.
Wow.
And he had died some months prior to my decision to try to enter the Juilliard school. Why did I enter the Juilliard school? Because I said to myself, I don't know enough. Even though I had studied all of the time, I felt I didn't know enough. And I needed to have my diplomas to be able to someday teach at a university.
Right.
And it was a decision that I made walking in New York City. And I said to myself, I think I need to enter a school and to be graduated from that school.
But to me, that's you following your guidance. You're following your intuition, your little voice in your head, where most of us don't listen to that because we do what you initially did and said, oh, I can't do it. But you just like, okay, that's what I'm being guided to do. I'm going to try it. What's the worst that could happen?
They thought I was crazy. They thought really I was crazy.
It's such an honor to go to Juilliard. Such an honor to get to audition there.
Yes.
How could you not do it?
I never, when I love to do something, I never think about it, the difficulty that goes with it. I work so that I can be as well prepared as possible. That's the only thing that I can do.
And the other thing is that with me, I don't. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not about me against the other people that are auditioning. It's me against myself.
Yes.
That like you said, that we're doing the best that we can do for
Yeah.
ourselves at the moment.
Yes.
And then, if it's meant to happen, it won't, or other doors will open the way we spoke about
Yes.
on the way in.
But you have
Yes.
to try.
Yes.
And you can't let anyone stop you.
Yeah.
No.
You have to go ahead and do it.
Yes. Yes. And I think all of you that are listening to us today, always know that there is always a light there,
Yeah.
right in front of us. We just need to look at it and follow it. We never have to say, no, I won't be able to do it. Oh, yes, you will be able to do it if you just happen to set your mind and go for it.
Determined.
Yeah, I think, what I've learned, and I'm still learning, is you have to give yourself the time to be in the silence, to really digest what you've done, and to really listen to your intuition, yourself, to find out where you should go, what you should do, and where you're led to. And
Yes.
you really need to have that support team around you to help you, and you had support around you. Like I know Mr. Schlossberger was
Yes.
your teacher for many, many years. I remember he was from Fair Lawn, and I used to go to his house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He was my teacher since I was 7 years old.
Yes. And tell us, because I
Yes.
remember you telling me something like when Gagaya brought you to Mr. Schlossberger.
Yes. Yes.
Gagaya is my grandfather. And you've probably heard me talk about Gagaya, because Gagaya is the person that came through, and Karen Noe, my friend who's a medium.
Yes.
When I first met her,
Yes.
I don't know if you know this, but one time when you brought me to Barnes and Nobles, I was in a really bad place. I was in
Yes.
tears. I don't know. You
Yeah.
said, "Come on, let's go to Barnes and Nobles."
Yes.
And we're in the premise Barnes and Nobles, and I was walking around, and I picked up this book, and you said, "What are you doing with this?" I said, "I don't know." And all of a sudden I said, "Well, I guess I'm going to buy it." I was in such a bad spot, I remember. And when I was in the car, I turned it over. It said Karen Noe.
Oh.
And she was out of Ramsey. I said,
Oh.
"That's no way on this, all those books in Barnes and Nobles, that I could pick up a book that's
Yes.
from an author."
So how did you meet her?
And so I went online and just emailed her. She emailed me back, and that was when we connected. And she's a big, renowned, very big now. She works with Wayne Dyer's children.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So anyway, to make a long story short, she said, "Come on in, I'll do a reading for you." And I got a reading from her, and the person that came through was Gagaya. So I always
Yes.
tell that story when I'm talking about Karen Noe and I.
Yes.
And I said, "There's no way on this earth someone could come up with the name Gagaya
Yes.
and not be hearing from Gagaya, because that's not your ordinary name."
No, first of all, it's not really a name, because that was not his name. But the thing was that when Rene was little, my father, God rest his soul, sometimes would speak in a very moody way. Not that he was moody, it's just the way that he spoke.
Yeah.
So my mother would say, is that your father, Mayda, your father is cascarrabia. Cascarrabia means
Yes.
that he is always complaining
Yes.
and in a bad mood. So Rene could not say cascarrabia because it was very difficult. So they came up with the name Cacaya.
I just imagine someone that I'm doing a reading with me
would come up with Cacaya. That's a very symbolic thing.
So I knew she was
She's
authentic.
really on target.
Yeah. And Gagaya is even on the cover of. You saw the my book I'm doing, Extra Inning.
Yes.
Gagaya is, when I'm diving for the ball, he's in the backdrop, because he always used to come and watch me play high school softball.
Yes.
So he's in the backdrop,
Oh, that's
and that to me is so symbolic, because he is, my mother tells me all the time, he's a guardian angel for me. He's
Yes.
always
Yes.
watching for me, and
Yes.
he always loves the music. And
Yes.
so, yeah.
Yes.
Does Kakayo come to you? Does Kakayo watching over you as well?
I think that he does. In fact, when it came to come to this show, he was the one that really made it possible for me to come to
Yeah,
the
because
show.
you weren't were you traveling in at this time, or
I
did
was
you just
traveling.
kind of made a
No,
pit
no,
stop
no,
in New
no,
York and
no.
New Jersey?
I was traveling. I was coming in home. I was coming home, but I was not planning, to
Right.
be in the show.
Right.
But somehow
Yeah.
his way of
Yeah.
talking, to me,
Yeah.
he said, "You must be in that show."
Oh, that's good. Thank you,
So-
Kagaya.
We're
Yeah.
all thankful.
Kagaya, he was, I think, I look at Kagaya like very quiet.
Yes.
He was, to me, I didn't really, I was probably 15, 6. Well, no, he died the year I got married.
Yes.
He died the year I got married.
Did he
So
go to
84.
your wedding?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
1984 he died in.
84,
84 he
yes.
died in. But I always look at him like a very quiet guy, but I always felt his presence with me to
Yeah.
guide me and to really, show me his
Right.
support, because he loved music. I mean, he
Yeah.
was your... How did you, when you were singing, like, where did you sing that Kagaya heard you sing that he brought you to Mr. Schlossberger?
I sang all of my life since I was a little girl.
But where were you, like, where did you
Just
sing?
sang in the house
all
and you
of
sang in
all
school?
of all of my life. When I was a little girl, 3-4 years old, my grandmother, my father's mother, she was a teacher. I was born in Cuba, and she was a teacher. And on Fridays during the week, they
Mom, could I
always
share
had.
something with you? Because we can only see your side
Okay.
face. So if
Yeah.
you want, I'm just asking, when
Yes.
you want to address the audience, you have to.
The audience is here.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you want to move I just don't want you to look back and not be addressing
Okay.
the audience.
Well, anyway, I was talking about my grandmother, who was a teacher in Havana, Cuba. And because I sang all of the time, on Fridays, they used to have a civic ceremony at the school where she taught.
Oh wow!
And she would take me as a little girl and would say, Maydita, go sing something.
Maydita, what does she call you?
Maydita.
My
Maydita.
darling, my
Yeah, my little one.
little
Wow.
one.
Yeah, go and sing something. So I would
Who
never.
was that? De Carrera?
No. My grandmother, my father, Kakaya's
Kakaya's
mother.
mother.
Yeah, and
never
she
knew
would.
her.
She took me, and
She
would
was
say,
in
"Go."
Cuba.
Yes,
This was in Cuba that this was
Yes,
happening.
yes.
Okay.
So
Because you came over at what age?
about 7 years
7.
old. Oh.
Okay.
And she would take me and tell me that. I never hesitated to sing at any moment, at any time, in whatever place.
You weren't nervous in front of an audience?
No.
That's beautiful.
No. So I would get up on the stage, and now for a little girl to sing and be on pitch, that's something
Right.
that you have to have been born with,
Yes,
because
it's a
not,
gift from
it's a
God.
connection between the throat and the ear. It's a definite connection. And then rhythmic wise, to remember text wise, to communicate sentiments. That's another thing. And the sentiments were not communicated because I had heard it, someone singing it that way. First of all, I'm very rebellious about copying anybody else. So even when I was a little girl, I would do things the way that I felt them. But anyway, I would get up, and this is something very, very unique, that later on, as I grew up, became an adult, and now that I'm an old person, I remember I said, at that time, I would begin in a particular pitch. So if the song was a song that went up to a very high note, if I began very high, I probably couldn't reach that high note. So I would be singing the melody and I would know that the high note was coming,
Coming.
and I would not be able to reach. So I would stop. And this is a little girl.
You would take a breath.
No, I would stop and say, I will begin again.
Very
And
good.
I
Wow.
began a third.
octave lower,
No,
yeah.
no. A third or a fourth.
Right.
Perfect fourth. I would begin.
So you were
No.
singing a cappella yourself. You were
Yes.
singing a cappella.
Yeah. So I would
It's funny that I began
to
singing
be
a
able to
cappella.
reach that high note. Now, a little girl, how does a little child be able to make
That assumption.
that and to understand how to bring it down to a certain note to be able to reach the high
Right.
note? So I ask myself, because when I think of myself as a child, somehow I separate myself, not understanding that I am the same person. No, because you say it's like a child when you see them little playing the piano that have a gift for playing the
Right.
piano. The little fingers, how can they do that? And how can they do things that adults, wonderful pianists, cannot do? Because somehow there's certain gifts
Right,
that God gives
right,
you,
right.
I believe that.
So anyway, my grandmother, that's when I sang all of my life.
Wow.
All
Wow.
of my life. So my father knew that I sang. So he was a pathologist. So where he worked, he asked a young lady that used to be singing, in pathology. She would be singing, and he asked her, who do you have to teach you voice?
Right.
She didn't answer him, but there was a lady that worked in pathology and said, Artie, you call my father Artie, I know who the teacher is because he comes to the same synagogue
Oh.
where I go to.
How about
Wow.
I will give you his name and you will call him. So my father called Kurt Schlossberger. And Mr. Schlossberger, I always called him Mr. Schlossberger, even if as an
Out of
adult.
respect.
I know.
That's the way, when we were children, we were taught to do
Yeah,
that.
even he would say, Mayda, don't call me Mr. Call me Kurt. I said, I can't. It doesn't come out of
I
my
know.
mouth. It doesn't.
I know. You remember? Do you remember Mrs. Padavani?
Yes.
She was an angel in St. Anthony's School where we went to school, and she was not the secretary, but she used to operate the school, and the principal used to be. So I guess she was the principal's administrator.
Yes.
But when she started to work in me in my deli, she said, "Can you please call me in?" I said, "No, you're Mrs. Padavani.
I
How can I
can't.
call you? How can
Yeah.
I? After all those years of walking into the principal's office and seeing you there
Yes.
and respecting who you are and how you
Yes.
how could I call you?" So
Yes.
I
It's
understand
very
that.
Eventually?
difficult.
No, I never.
Wow.
Till the day she died, I called her Miss Padavani.
So Mr. Schlossberger,
What age did
No,
he
no.
die at?
I don't remember, but I was with him all of my life.
Yeah.
And even though when I was 13, I began studying with Samuel Margolis in New York City, and Robert Merrill, the great baritone,
Oh.
heard me, and he took me to
Wow.
study with his teacher. It's very strange how life leads you to many places, and you ask yourself, what privilege is this?
Right.
I am nobody. And how was I able to study with these people and be guided by them? Because I am more the daughter of Mr. Schlossberger than I am of my father. Because Mr. Schlossberger would sit me and talk to me and play music and make me understand things that my father could not convey because he didn't know.
But your father was the one that opened that channel up, and
Yes.
and it's almost like God inspired Kakaya to know that you needed someone to guide you, to support you, to help you, and that's why Gagaya asked at work, and then he brought you to Mr. Schlossberger.
3 times ago, Mr. Schlossberger said, "No, I don't take children at such a young age."
But yeah, I think
3
it was
times.
you that told me that you don't like to train. I don't remember, but you don't like to train a young person because their vocals haven't fully developed.
It's true.
It could change.
Yes.
Their voice
Well,
could change.
well, we go through hormonal changes.
Right.
And a young girl should begin training maybe when she's 15, 16, you know, and a young man a little older, because they take
Their
a little.
voice changes around 13, I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So you have to wait for that. But he said, "Okay, bring her. Bring your daughter." So my father took me and I sang for him, and he said, "I will teach your daughter. You don't have to pay me."
Wow.
And my father never paid Mr. Schlossberger.
Wow.
for
Mr.
all
Schlossberger
my-
got paid in the what he was doing for the universe, in guiding you
Yes.
and helping you.
He
Mr.
saw your talent. He knew you could do it.
I
He wanted to
was.
be there for you.
It was all in my destiny.
Yeah. And I have a
believe
question because, you're talking about going into New York City at 13 years old.
Yes.
How did you go into New York City at 13 years old?
My father taught me to take a bus.
13 years old.
And I would take the bus. I would take the bus to the Port Authority.
Wow.
And from Port Authority, I would take a taxi to take my lessons.
Wow.
First, he took me. First for a
Yeah, so
second
that you
time
can
he-
show the
You're
way.
used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
So
took
how
me.
did you do both? How did you go to school as well as...
Well, the thing was that when you sing or you do some artistic work as a child, the school likes that because they promote children
Yes.
that are talented. So and because I had wonderful teachers in school, I had a teacher by the name of Mrs. Atkins.
I am a...
In grammar
no.
school, and she went to the same synagogue.
Oh, as
Where
Mr.
Mr.
Schlossberg.
Schloss-
Now, are we talking about Mary Help of Christians, or are we talking
No.
about...
We are talking about
your
grammar school.
Your grammar school.
Grammar school.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
It's so, I mean, I love
Grammar
the
school.
connections and way that God handles
Yeah.
things. And I applaud you because, you've always listened to your intuition. It took me till a long, now, within the after my stroke, I shared with everybody that, it was really God trying to get my attention, like saying, "Hey, Renee, you're not listening. Like,
Yeah.
you're not, we're going to try this one more time. We're going to knock you out. We're going to,
Yeah.
we're going to put you in the hospital. We're going to make, yeah. And, and finally this time I'm like, okay, God, okay, and I began to develop and to really listen to my guidance and where I'm supposed to go, and and just really do what's right for me. I mean, everybody knows that my last position that I had taken for a few months, it didn't feel right to me. So I walked in and gave my resignation, like,
Yes.
telling them for reasons I don't want to publicize, but, and I didn't have anything. I was just really listening to what was the best for me, although like yourself and everyone, I had people that I spoke to about it, and they supported me, and they support. Yeah, Judy was like, you got Renee, you got to
health.
Yeah, you got to leave. So, I mean, my point is that it's finally to this point that I am learning. But I have a question for you back for your head injury, because, when you were talking about you not knowing, like, your what you had.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, after I first had my stroke, I just jumped back into society, and I really didn't know the severity of
Yes.
what had happened to me.
Yeah.
And I'm
The
afraid.
doctors didn't tell you?
Yeah, but my brain was so discombobulated, it was defragmented, that I didn't understand. So I walk around in this happy space, not knowing, just living my life. When people be looking at me, I'm like, what's the matter with them? Like, I'm, like, I didn't even like the same thing as you. I didn't even realize there was anything abnormal about me. Like,
But your parents didn't bring you to a doctor and say, we've been
I
in
was,
a car
I
accident?
wasn't, no, I was operated.
Oh, you were?
I have, absolutely, I have a hole in my head.
Yeah.
Come, take your hand. Give me your hand. Look.
Oh, my.
Oh, my.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So my point is,
it was not how large was the injury,
So
but
that's
how
where you
deep.
got hit. You got hit, and it was deep.
It was very deep.
And they operated,
Oh, yeah.
and
I just got an operation.
and that's why you didn't have the
memory.
ability to
my
memorize.
memory.
So my
My
mom,
memory.
it's so funny because, not funny, but that's the word I'm using, that the parallels to our lives, and we've traveled different roads to come to this point that we've experienced the same, in different ways, the same life experience, I'll call it,
Yes.
with both suffering from aphasia,
Yes.
which they didn't have that
Right.
terminology
They
back
didn't
when
know.
my
They
mom
didn't know
or
how to
back.
describe that.
Yeah, I mean, but it was something that she had to deal with, and I had to go down that road too. And it's amazing that we're both here to talk about it, because there's a lot of people and our viewers, and I always follow and support people on Facebook and people who have had strokes or a brain injury, that they don't have the help or support or the love around them
Very
to
important.
to really recover,
important,
to really cover. And that's why we do this show, to tell people. And the truth is that there's people that have experienced strokes that really aren't getting what we're saying to them, but we just need to support them and be there for them. And when somebody on Facebook says, I made 3 steps today, it's like, oh, that's great, you could do it, like, no problem. If go do 3 tomorrow, you could do it, you could do it, you could do it. So we try to just inspire them, because it's a really long road, and strokes is the number 1 cause of disability in the country. The number 1 cause of disability. So it's and aphasia is what you experience, is it's troubling to have the brain have had something wrong with it, a trauma to it, and when they're looking at us, they don't think that anything's wrong with us, but we have that trauma in our brain that we have to
deal with.
So people, this is what I tell people all the time, is please think before you talk about somebody.
When you had the operation, after you were recovering, did you go for therapy for,
No.
They didn't.
Oh my God.
They didn't
No.
know about that.
My father never taught. He said, everything is fine with you. There's nothing wrong with you.
Well, they didn't know.
Oh, my father had to know. He was a pathologist.
Oh,
He had to
my
know.
mother said that on the way here. But you know what? I mean, sometimes, the fact that I don't know whether he knew or not. We're not even going to go there, because he's not here to defend himself.
Yes.
But
he's here.
Oh, hi, Kagaya. But
He's here.
Yes. But
He's here.
But I will tell you that maybe the fact that he didn't even put any attention. Like, let's talk about attention, Mom. Remember when I didn't have insurance, when I wasn't working,
Right.
And I said to you, you are the only second person I'm going to say this to, and I'm never going to talk about it again.
Yeah.
That I do not have insurance. That's it. Thank you. Have a nice day. Like, I didn't want to place any attention
To that.
to that.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
I didn't want to draw any attention to it. So maybe the fact that he didn't bring any attention to your situation, that he just forged you forward.
Yes, that's what I thought. So too.
He just forged you
Yes,
forward, and he
yes.
pushed you. And maybe
Yes.
your recovery came with Mr. Schlossberger. Maybe your
That's
recovery
right.
came with, in other areas, you got that recovery from.
we really never going to know.
No, we'll never know.
But we accept whatever God had in store
Yes.
Right.
for me, in my case.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
my case, But no, he just absolutely denied that I had that problem. He absolutely denied it, you know. So,
And how long was it after your I mean, how many weeks after your brain surgery that you
sang?
sang?
No, it was about 2 weeks after.
2 weeks after.
2
That's
weeks
incredible.
You loved singing. It was a passion. You sang.
It's
You
not-
enjoyed it.
Singing is not something that
You didn't think about it. You just loved it.
is part of me.
Yes.
It's like talking, like breathing. It's part of you. It's part of you. You don't think about it, you know. And that's what I tell my students. Why must you think so much when you're going to sing? Breathe and communicate. But maestra, but professor, but this, but that. I said, don't think so much. No one gave you the voice. Your voice was given by nature, by God to you.
That's true.
Don't even doubt it for
Right.
1 second.
Right.
Don't doubt
Right.
it.
Right.
And it will be there for you. And they look at me, okay, sing. And they sing, oh, I didn't realize. I said, stop thinking that you're realizing
You're
something.
overthinking.
You're
with
connected.
it,
You
yes.
just got to flow, you know. And once again, it took me many years to get to this point in my life, you know, to just go on the stage. You do your homework, you rehearse, you do whatever you can do, and then when you go out to perform, you just kind of be
There's
guided,
something-
and you have to do what you need to
There's
do.
something about being out in front of the audience that gives you all the nerves you had before that. When you go out and you start singing in front of the audience, you feel great. This is what I've been told.
You
Oh my
forget
gosh.
that you have an audience.
That's right.
It becomes, but it's almost like you become a family. You know, you're sharing with them, and they're responding,
Right.
and they're getting so much from what you're sharing. And it's when I sing, it just fills
When
me.
you sing, Renee, you embrace your audience and everyone that hears you.
That's true.
Because you're part of the universe,
Yeah.
and you do not cut off. You
Yeah.
bring together,
Yeah.
and that's the great thing about
Yeah.
being a how do you say part of God.
Mm. I love when I do all my telethons, and Jim will attest to this, and so will Judy. Some of my favorite moments are when everybody comes together and we sing "We Are the World," or we
Yeah.
sing, you know, "United We Stand," and that's my favorite, because I love when people join in with
That's
me
right.
and
That's
become a
right.
part of the music and
That's
get
right.
lost in the love that's
Yes.
there. That's
Yes.
really
Yes, and nowadays we need it more than
Yes.
other times.
yeah.
Say that again.
Yeah, one time you had shared with me, I forget what we were talking about, that my mom, and I'm working on it now, saw me like doing shows like Lena Horne. Right?
Right.
You remember that saying that to
Yes.
me?
Right.
And that's really, I mean, that's remember, I'm looking for a piano player. I'm looking
Yes.
for a piano player to accompany me, so
Yes.
we can work together. And then I see myself with this big orchestra to bring hope to people,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
strokes and aphasia,
Yes.
but through music. Through
Yes.
music. I have to do it
Yes.
through music.
So you're looking for a pianist.
I'm looking for a pianist. So if you know of
Are
a
you
pianist,
running
let me know.
ads in
I am.
local papers too?
No. I posted it. I sent it out. I posted
I've
it.
seen it on Facebook.
So we'll see. My mom will think of something.
No, I think it's very important, but important for someone that really
Enjoys it.
is that is in tune with you.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's yes. Yeah,
Very important.
because that's why I need a keyboard player that's my keyboard player, that we could understand each other. Because when I said to my mom before, you know, he's got to feel me. And I used to have a few keyboard players, and one of them is Lynn Holly, who's in Highland, who's lives in Atlanta. And I went to school with her, and they follow me. They don't
Right.
lead the way; they follow me.
Yes,
And
yes.
if
Perhaps she knows of someone that's
yeah,
in
but
the
she
group.
said, "I'll do it." I said, "You're in Atlanta," you know, because I used to sing.
Relocate.
I know. I used to sing, you know, in schools,
Yes.
and I used to do stuff like Everything from A Star Is Born, which is my absolute favorite
Yes.
favorite
Yes.
movie.
Judy Garland.
No,
Yeah.
no, I like the one with Barbara Streisand and Chris Christopherson.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Where
Yeah, but you have to think of Judy
I know,
Garland.
but the music is different. The music is different.
They gave the same title, but they wrote new music.
Right,
for
right.
it.
And they're doing it again with Lady Gaga.
Oh, my.
Lady Gaga. So yes. So Lady Gaga's doing it. So all right. So what? So we've been on for an hour, and the next show is in the house, Pamela. So we're going to thank my mom. Thank you so much
You're
for.
very
It's an
welcome.
honor to meet you.
No, it's a great pleasure and a privilege to speak to all of you out there. May God bless all of you. And always remember that even though you have had an injury like ours, you can always come out the winner if you really believe in God and believe in yourself. Always believe there is always a light right in front of you. Take that light and follow it, and you will be the winner, and you will be very happy in your life.
I'm going to respect my mom and not say anything after that.
Thank
Let's
you,
blow our
sweetheart.
kisses. God bless everybody.
God bless.
Bye.
See you next week.
Yo no entiendo por qué tú más que nadie sabes qué pasó en mi vida, Yo no sé qué tú piensas, yo no sé lo que haré, yo no sé lo que estoy perdiendo.